Captain, we're picking up an anomalous energy signature, Lieutenant Kai Nakamura announced, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. It's unlike anything in our database. Ilara leaned forward, her steel-gray eyes narrowing. On screen, Lieutenant. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a shimmering distortion in the fabric of space. It pulsed with an otherworldly energy, ribbons of light dancing around its edges. Theories? Ilara asked, glancing at her science officer, Dr. Zara Reeves. Zara, her emerald eyes alight with curiosity, shook her head. It could be a natural phenomenon, Captain. Or, she hesitated, a smile tugging at her lips. It could be evidence of an advanced civilization. Ilara nodded, feeling the familiar thrill of discovery coursing through her veins. This was why they had ventured into the unknown, to push the boundaries of human knowledge and make contact with new life forms. Take us in closer, Helm. Slowly. As the horizon approached the anomaly, the distortion suddenly flared, engulfing the ship in a blinding light. Alarms blared across the bridge as the crew held onto their stations. Shields at maximum, Ilara shouted over the chaos. Brace for impact. The light faded as quickly as it had appeared, leaving the crew disoriented. As Ilara's vision cleared, she gasped. The starfield before them had changed completely. Where there had once been empty space, a massive structure now loomed. It was a space station, but unlike any human design. Its architecture was organic, with sweeping curves and iridescent surfaces that seemed to shift and flow. It dwarfed the horizon, making the Earth vessel seem insignificant in comparison. Status report, Ilara demanded, her voice steady despite the shock. All systems operational, Captain, Kai reported. But we're not where we were. Our position has changed by several light years. Before Ilara could respond, a new voice filled the bridge, melodic, yet clearly artificial. Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted Etherian space. State your intentions or be neutralized. Ilara exchanged glances with her crew. First contact. This was the moment they had trained for, dreamed of. She took a deep breath, straightening her uniform. This is Captain Ilara Voss of the Earth Alliance Starship Horizon. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship. There was a long pause, tension thick in the air. Then, a shimmer of light appeared on the bridge, coalescing into a holographic figure. It was humanoid, but clearly alien, tall and slender, with iridescent skin and large, almond-shaped eyes that seemed to hold the depths of the cosmos. I am Nixa, overseer of Gateway Station, the being said, its voice resonating with an otherworldly timbre. Your presence here is unexpected. Ilara stepped forward, her posture open and non-threatening. We encountered an anomaly in space that brought us here. We mean no harm or intrusion. Nixa's eyes narrowed, studying Ilara and her crew with an intensity that made them shift uncomfortably. Your technology is primitive, yet you have traversed the Void Gate, curious. Dr. Reeves couldn't contain her excitement. The anomaly, you call it a Void Gate, is it a form of faster-than-light travel? Nixa turned its gaze to Zara, a flicker of amusement crossing its features. Your kind is inquisitive, perhaps dangerously so. Ilara intervened, sensing the delicate nature of the situation. We are explorers, overseer Nixa. We seek to learn and understand. If we have trespassed, we apologize. We would be honored to engage in peaceful dialogue and cultural exchange. Nixa was silent for a moment, its form shimmering slightly. When it spoke again, there was a note of curiosity in its voice. Your openness is refreshing, Captain Voss. The Etherians have long debated whether to make contact with younger races. It seems the universe has forced our hand. The hologram expanded, showing a three-dimensional map of the station. You will be granted limited access to Gateway Station. Your crew may disembark in designated areas. But be warned, any attempt to access restricted zones or technology will be met with severe consequences. Ilara nodded solemnly. Understood, Overseer. We will respect your rules and boundaries. As the hologram faded, Ilara turned to her crew, seeing a mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces. This is it, people. First contact with an advanced alien civilization. Let's make humanity proud. The crew of the Horizon prepared for their historic encounter, unaware of the profound impact this meeting would have on both their species and the Etherians. As they docked with Gateway Station, neither humans nor aliens could have predicted the challenges, conflicts, and ultimate understanding that lay ahead. The first step into a larger universe had been taken, and there was no turning back. As the airlock hissed open, Captain Ilara Voss led a small delegation from the Horizon onto Gateway Station. The alien architecture was even more breathtaking up close, with corridors that seemed to breathe and walls that shimmered with bioluminescent patterns. Dr. Zara Reeves walked beside her, barely containing her excitement as she scanned everything with her handheld device. The level of technological advancement is staggering, Captain, Zara whispered. Their mastery of energy manipulation, the integration of organic and inorganic materials, it's centuries beyond our capabilities. Ilara nodded, her eyes alert for any sign of threat or deception. Remember, we're here to learn and establish peaceful relations. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. They were met by a group of Etherians, led by Overseer Nixa. Up close, the aliens were even more striking. Their iridescent skin seemed to ripple with colors that reflected their emotions, and their movements were graceful, almost fluid. "Welcome to Gateway Station," Nixa said, its voice resonating in their minds as much as their ears. "We have prepared an area for your crew to rest and refresh themselves. We have much to discuss, Captain Voss." As they walked, Ilara noticed the curious and sometimes wary looks from other Etherians they passed. It was clear that the presence of humans was unusual and perhaps not entirely welcome. They entered a large chamber that seemed to be a kind of meeting hall. The walls displayed holographic images of star systems and celestial phenomena that Ilara didn't recognize. As they settled into seats that molded to their bodies, Nixa began to speak. "Your arrival has caused quite a stir among our people, Captain. Some see it as an opportunity for growth and exchange. Others—" Nixa paused, its skin flickering with darker hues. "Others see it as a potential threat." Ilara leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "I assure you, Overseer, we have no hostile intentions. We're explorers, seekers of knowledge." Nixa's eyes seemed to pierce through her. "Intent and impact are not always aligned, Captain. Your people's history is filled with examples of exploration leading to destruction." Dr. Reeves spoke up, her voice tinged with defensiveness. "With all due respect, Overseer, humanity has learned from its past. We've united our planet, solved many of our social issues, and now look to the stars with hope, not conquest." An Etherian behind Nixa, introduced as Liaison Thara, stepped forward. Its skin rippled with skepticism. "Pretty words, but actions speak louder. We've observed your kind from afar. Your wars, your pollution, your treatment of your own planet. Why should we believe you've changed?" Ilara felt a flash of anger, but quelled it quickly. This was a delicate situation, and she couldn't let pride or defensiveness jeopardize its historic moment. "We don't claim to be perfect, Liaison Thara, but we've made great strides. Our mission here is proof of that. We seek to understand, to learn, to grow. We hope to share our experiences, both successes and failures, in the spirit of mutual benefit." Nixa tilted its head, considering. "An admirable stance, Captain, but words must be backed by deeds. We propose a series of cultural exchanges. Your crew will be allowed to observe some of our less sensitive operations. In return, we wish to send a delegation to your ship." Ilara hesitated. Allowing aliens full access to the Horizon could be seen as a security risk, but refusing could derail the entire diplomatic process. She made a quick decision. "We would be honored, Overseer. However, I hope you understand that some areas of our ship must remain off-limits just as you have restricted zones here. Nixa's skin shimmered with what Elara hoped was approval. Agreed. Mutual respect and caution are wise in new relationships. As the meeting continued, discussing the logistics of the exchange, tensions began to ease slightly. But Elara could sense an undercurrent of mistrust on both sides. The Etherians were clearly advanced, possibly even post-scarcity, yet they seemed almost afraid of human potential. Later, as Elara's team explored the public areas of the station, they encountered both curiosity and hostility from the Etherian populace. Some eagerly approached them, asking questions about Earth and human culture. Others kept their distance, their skin rippling with colors that Elara interpreted as disgust or fear. In a vast arboretum filled with alien flora, Dr. Rees found herself in a heated discussion with an Aetherian scientist named Lyrics. "Your approach to genetics is brutish," Lyrics said, its skin flashing with academic disdain. "You manipulate DNA without truly understanding the cosmic dance of life." Zara bristled. "Our genetic research has cured diseases, extended lifespans, and even helped us terraform harsh environments. How is that brutish?" Lyric's reply was cut short by a commotion nearby. Lieutenant Kai Nakamura was surrounded by a group of younger Etherians, their colors shifting rapidly in what seemed like excitement or agitation. "Is it true that humans still use physical violence to settle disputes?" one asked, its voice a mix of horror and fascination. Kai, uncomfortable with the attention, tried to deflect. "That's a complex issue. We've largely moved beyond that as a society." Another Etherian pressed closer. "But you still have the capacity for it. You could harm another being with your own hands." The situation was growing tense. Elara moved to intervene, but Nixa beat her to it. The Overseer's presence immediately calmed the young Etherians, who dispersed with apologetic glances. "I apologize," Captain Nixa said. "Some of our younger ones are overly curious about the more primitive aspects of other species." Elara felt a spark of irritation at the word primitive, but kept her composure. "No harm done, Overseer. Cultural exchange is rarely smooth sailing. We're learning from each other, and that's what matters." As they continued their tour, Elara couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking a tightrope. The potential for misunderstanding and conflict seemed vast. Yet, she also saw moments of genuine connection and shared wonder between humans and Etherians. This was just the beginning, she realized. The real challenge lay ahead, bridging the gap between two vastly different species, each with their own strengths, flaws, and deep-seated prejudices. As she watched Dr. Rees animatedly discussing alien botany with a now friendlier Lyrics, Elara allowed herself a small smile. There was hope yet. As days passed on Gateway Station, the initial wonder of first contact began to give way to the complex reality of interspecies relations. Captain Elara Voss found herself constantly mediating between her crew's enthusiasm and the Etherians' caution. Yet, amid the tensions and misunderstandings, small moments of connection began to emerge. In the station's vast library, a space that seemed to defy the laws of physics with its endless shelves and floating data crystals, Dr. Zara Rees had formed an unlikely partnership with Lyrics, the Etherian scientist she had initially clashed with. Together, they pored over star charts and xenobiology data, each finding value in the other's perspective. "Your species' approach to problem-solving is unconventional," Lyrics admitted, its skin shimmering with a mix of frustration and admiration. "But I cannot deny its effectiveness in certain scenarios." Zara grinned, her eyes alight with the thrill of discovery. "And your understanding of cosmic phenomena is breathtaking, Lyrics. Imagine what we could achieve if we combined our knowledge." Elsewhere on the station, Lieutenant Kai Nakamura found himself drawn to the Aetherians' holographic combat simulations. Though the Etherians claim to have evolved beyond physical violence, they maintain these programs for historical and theoretical purposes. Kai's martial arts background fascinated a group of young Etherians, who watched in awe as he demonstrated basic forms and techniques. One of them, a lithe Etherian named Zeph, approached him hesitantly. "Your movements, they're like a dance, but with purpose," Zeph observed, its skin rippling with curiosity. "Could you teach me?" Kai paused, remembering the earlier tensions surrounding human capacity for violence, but he saw an opportunity here, a chance to show that these skills were about discipline and self-improvement, not harm. "I'd be honored," Kai replied with a smile. "But first, let me explain the philosophy behind these movements. It's not about hurting others, but about harmony with oneself and one's surroundings." As Kai began his impromptu lesson, more Etherians gathered, their initial wariness giving way to genuine interest. Meanwhile, Captain Voss found herself in deep discussion with Overseer Nixar in a conference room overlooking the vast expanse of space. They had been debating the merits and risks of deeper cooperation between their species. "Your people's resourcefulness is impressive," Nixar admitted, its form shimmering with a mix of emotions. "We've observed how quickly you adapt to new situations, how you find solutions where we see only problems." Ilara nodded, sensing a shift in the Overseer's attitude. "And your species' wisdom, your deep understanding of the cosmos, it's humbling. We have so much to learn from you." Nixar's eyes seemed to soften. Perhaps that is the key, Captain Voss. We each have strengths the other lacks. Your adaptability, our knowledge. Your passion, our patience. "A partnership," Ilara suggested, feeling a spark of hope. "Not just between individuals, but between our species." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message. One of the station's critical systems was malfunctioning, threatening a cascade failure that could endanger the entire structure. Without hesitation, Ilara offered the Horizon's assistance. "Our engineering team has experience with unexpected failures. Let us help." Nixar paused only briefly before nodding. "Very well, Captain. We accept your offer." In the heart of the station's power core, human and Etherian engineers worked side by side, racing against time. The humans' outside perspective and improvisational skills complemented the Etherians' deep knowledge of their own technology. Chief Engineer Ravi Mehta found himself working closely with Thara, the initially skeptical Etherian liaison. As they rerouted power and stabilized systems, Ravi's quick thinking and Thara's precise knowledge formed a surprisingly effective combination. "Your solution is unorthodox," Thara admitted as they sealed the final connection, "but effective. I may have misjudged your species' capabilities." Ravi grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. "We're full of surprises, and I have to say, your technology is amazing. I've learned more in the past hour than in years of study." As the crisis was averted, a new atmosphere settled over Gateway Station. The shared experience of working together towards a common goal had bridged some of the gap between humans and Etherians. In the aftermath, Ilara and Nixar stood together, watching their crews interact with newfound respect and curiosity. "It seems," Nixar said, its skin glowing with a warm golden light, "that we may have more in common than we initially thought, Captain Voss." Ilara nodded, a smile playing on her lips. "Differences will always exist, Overseer, but it's how we bridge those differences that defines us." As they continued to talk, plans began to form. Cultural exchange programs, joint scientific ventures, even the possibility of human settlements in Etherian space. The path ahead was still uncertain, filled with potential pitfalls and misunderstandings. But for the first time since the Horizon's arrival, both species looked to the future with hope and excitement rather than fear and suspicion. The foundations of a remarkable partnership were being laid, one that would change the course of both civilizations. As news of the successful cooperation spread throughout the station and was relayed back to Earth, a sense of possibility filled the air. The universe, it seemed, had just become a much larger and more wondrous place for everyone involved. The budding alliance between humans and Etherians had barely taken root when the first signs of trouble appeared on the horizon. What began as a series of minor disturbances in the outer reaches of Aetherian space soon escalated into a crisis that would test the newfound trust between the two species. Captain Elara Voss was in the midst of a strategy meeting with Overseer Nixar when the alert came through. The holographic display in the command center flickered to life, showing a sector of space near the edge of Aetherian territory. "We've lost contact with 3 of our outposts in the Lyra sector," Nixar explained, its skin pulsing with shades of concern. "Initial scans suggest an unknown force is responsible." Elara leaned in, studying the tactical display. Pirates? Or perhaps a natural phenomenon? Nixar's form shimmered with uncertainty. Neither. The attack patterns are too coordinated for pirates, and our outposts are shielded against known spatial anomalies. This is something new. As they discussed the situation, another alert blared. This time, it was Lieutenant Kai Nakamura's voice that filled the room. "Captain, we're picking up a distress signal from a human colony ship in the nearby sector. They report being under attack by unknown vessels." Elara's blood ran cold. A human ship, this far out in space. It had to be one of the new joint species missions they'd recently launched. She turned to Nixar, her expression grave. "Overseer, I request permission to take the Horizon to assist." Nixar hesitated, its colors shifting rapidly. "Captain Voss, we cannot spare our forces. Our own outposts are equally important," Elara finished. "But we can't ignore a cry for help. Let the Horizon investigate the human distress call. Your forces can focus on the Aetherian outposts. We'll share all information we gather." After a tense moment, Nixar nodded. "Agreed, but be cautious, Captain. We don't know what we're dealing with." As the Horizon sped towards the coordinates of the distress call, the crew prepared for combat. Dr. Zara Rees worked furiously at her station, analyzing the scant data they had on the attackers. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures," she reported. "They're unlike anything in our database or the Aetherian records we've been given access to." Elara nodded grimly. "Keep analyzing, Doctor. Any information could be crucial." As they approached the last known location of the colony's ship, the viewscreen lit up with the chaos of battle. The human vessel, a large but mostly unarmed transport, was under attack by sleek, dark ships that seemed to phase in and out of normal space. "Shields up. Weapons online," Elara commanded. "Hail the colony's ship." The face of a terrified human captain appeared on screen. "This is Captain Rena Sharma of the colony ship Newfoundland. Thank God you're here. These things came out of nowhere." "Hold on, Newfoundland. We're engaging the enemy," Elara assured her before cutting the transmission. "Tactical, target the lead attacking vessel. Fire at will." The Horizon's advanced weaponry, a blend of human ingenuity and Aetherian technology, lashed out at the mysterious attackers. But the enemy ships were incredibly agile, seeming to predict and evade their attacks with uncanny precision. "They're not just evading," Kai realized, his eyes wide. "They're adapting to our weapon patterns." As the battle raged on, it became clear that the Horizon was outmatched. Just as Elara was considering a desperate maneuver, new contacts appeared on their sensors. "Captain," Kai exclaimed, "Aetherian ships incoming." A squadron of Aetherian vessels, their organic designs a stark contrast to the dark attackers, swept into the battle. Led by Liaison Thara, they coordinated seamlessly with the Horizon, their combined firepower finally turning the tide. As the last of the enemy ships retreated into some kind of spatial rift, an uneasy calm settled over the battlefield. The colony ship was safe, but badly damaged, and the questions raised by this encounter far outnumbered the answers. Back on Gateway Station, the mood was tense as human and Aetherian leaders convened an emergency meeting. Reports were coming in from all over the sector. More attacks, more mysterious ships that seemed to appear and disappear at will. "This changes everything," Nixar said, its usual composure shaken. "These beings, whoever they are, pose a threat to both our peoples? Ilara nodded, her mind racing with the implications. We need to pool our resources, our knowledge. This isn't just about cultural exchange anymore, it's about survival. As the meeting progressed, theories were proposed and discarded. Were these new attackers from another dimension? A highly advanced species from the far reaches of the galaxy? Or something even more alien, beyond their current understanding? One thing became clear: neither humans nor Etherians could face this threat alone. Their fledgling alliance, born of curiosity and cautious optimism, would now be tested in the fires of conflict. As the leaders debated strategy and the scientists pored over battle data, a sense of unity began to emerge. Differences that had seemed so important days ago now felt trivial in the face of this new, unknown enemy. Ilara found herself standing next to Nixar, both of them gazing out at the stars through a vast viewing portal. The beauty of space now seemed tinged with menace, hiding untold dangers. "I never imagined our partnership would be forged like this," Ilara said softly. Nixar's skin rippled with a complex mix of emotions. Perhaps this is the universe's way of telling us that we are stronger together than apart. As they stood there, human and Etherian united in their concern for the future, neither could have predicted the challenges that lay ahead. The true test of their alliance was just beginning, and the fate of both their species hung in the balance. In the weeks following the initial attacks, Gateway Station transformed from a place of cultural exchange into a bustling war room. Humans and Etherians worked side by side, their earlier prejudices set aside in the face of a common enemy. Captain Ilara Voss found herself at the center of this whirlwind, coordinating efforts between the Earth Alliance and the Etherian High Council. "We've managed to establish a perimeter around the most vulnerable sectors," Ilara reported, gesturing to a holographic map of the region. "But these incursions are becoming more frequent and more aggressive." Overseer Nixar nodded, its skin pulsing with shades of worry and determination. "Our long-range sensors have detected unusual spatial distortions. We believe the enemy is using some form of interdimensional travel." Dr. Zara Rees stepped forward, her eyes alight with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "Captain, Overseer, I think I've made a breakthrough. Working with Lyrics, we've analyzed the energy signatures from the attack sites. These beings, we're calling them the Void Walkers, they're not just crossing space. They're crossing time." A hush fell over the room as the implications sank in. Time travel had long been theorized, but never achieved by either humans or Etherians. The idea that their enemy could manipulate time itself was terrifying. "If that's true," Lieutenant Kai Nakamura said, his voice tight with concern, "how can we possibly defend against them?" Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. A massive Void Walker fleet had appeared seemingly out of nowhere, bearing down on Gateway Station. "Battle stations," Ilara commanded, her training kicking in despite the fear gripping her heart. "Horizon, prepare for immediate launch. We need to buy the station time to power up its defenses." As the crew rushed to their positions, Nixar approached Ilara. "Captain, I'm coming with you. My knowledge of Aetherian technology could be crucial in this fight." Ilara hesitated for only a moment before nodding. There was no time for protocol or caution. They needed every advantage they could get. The battle that ensued was like nothing either species had ever experienced. The Void Walkers' ships phased in and out of reality, making them nearly impossible to target. The Horizon and its Aetherian allies fought valiantly, but they were slowly being overwhelmed. In the heat of the battle, as hope seemed to be fading, something unexpected happened. A new ship appeared, its design unlike anything human or Etherian. It moved with impossible speed, its weapons tearing through the Void Walker fleet with ease. "Captain," Kai shouted over the chaos. "We're being hailed by the unknown vessel." The viewscreen flickered to life, revealing a being that defied easy description. It seemed to shift and change, as if it existed in multiple states at once. "Greetings, beings of linear time," the creature said, its voice resonating in their minds rather than their ears. "I am Zix, a Chrono Guardian. We have been observing your conflict with great interest." Ilara and Nixar exchanged glances, both stunned by this new development. "You know about the Void Walkers?" Ilara asked. Zix's form shimmered. "We have been battling them across multiple timelines. They seek to unravel the very fabric of reality. Your alliance, humans and Etherians together, it creates a nexus point, a moment of great potential. We believe you may be the key to stopping the Void Walkers once and for all." As the battle raged around them, Zix explained that the Chrono Guardians were an ancient race dedicated to protecting the integrity of time and space. They had been locked in conflict with the Void Walkers for eons, across countless realities. "But we are few," Zix continued, "and the Void Walkers are many. We need allies, beings who can think creatively, adapt quickly, and work together despite their differences, beings like you." The offer of alliance with such an advanced race was tempting, but Elara remained cautious. "How do we know we can trust you? This could be another trick." Zix's form pulsed with what seemed like approval. "Caution is wise, Captain Voss. Allow me to prove our intentions." With that, the Chrono Guardian ship emitted a pulse of energy that enveloped the entire battlefield. In an instant, the Void Walker fleet was frozen in time, suspended in space like insects in amber. "This is temporary," Zix explained, "but it gives us a chance to talk, to plan. The fate of all realities hangs in the balance, and we believe your two species, working together, hold the key to victory." As the frozen battle hung around them, humans and Etherians found themselves facing a decision that would alter the course of history, not just for their own species, but for all of time and space. Ilara looked at Nixar, seeing her own mix of hope and uncertainty reflected in the Aetherian's shimmering form. "What do you think, Overseer? Do we take this leap?" Nixar's skin rippled with a kaleidoscope of colors. "We ventured into the unknown when we first met, Captain. Perhaps it's time to do so again, on an even grander scale." With a shared nod of agreement, Ilara turned back to the view screen. "Zix of the Chrono Guardians, on behalf of humanity and the Etherians, we accept your offer of alliance. Whatever comes next, we face it together." As Zix's form shimmered with what could only be described as joy, the frozen battlefield around them seemed to hum with potential. The next chapter in their journey was about to begin, one that would challenge everything they thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. The alliance between humans, Etherians, and Chrono Guardians ushered in an era of unprecedented cooperation and advancement. Gateway Station, once a symbol of cautious first contact, now stood as a beacon of hope for multiple species across time and space. Captain Ilara Voss found herself at the heart of this new coalition, her role evolving from starship captain to interspecies diplomat and tactical advisor. The Horizon, retrofitted with Etherian and Chrono Guardian technology, became a symbol of their united front against the Void Walkers. In the months that followed, joint task forces worked tirelessly to understand and counter the Void Walker threat. Dr. Zara Reeves led a team of human, Etherian, and Chrono Guardian scientists, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible in temporal physics. "The key," Zara explained during a high-level briefing, her eyes alight with the thrill of discovery, "is in the harmonization of our different approaches: human intuition, Aetherian precision, and Chrono Guardian temporal mastery. Together, they're allowing us to predict and counter Void Walker incursions with increasing accuracy." Overseer Nixar, its form shimmering with a mix of pride and anticipation, added, "We've already reclaimed 3 sectors previously lost to the Void Walkers. Our combined fleet is proving to be a formidable force." But the war was far from over. The Void Walkers, realizing the strength of this new alliance, had become more desperate and ruthless in their attacks. Battles raged across multiple timelines, with the fate of entire realities hanging in the balance. In one particularly fierce engagement, the Horizon found itself cut off from its allies, surrounded by a swarm of Void Walker ships. Lieutenant Kai Nakamura, now the ship's tactical officer, worked in perfect sync with his Aetherian counterpart, Zeph, their earlier martial arts lessons having evolved into a deep bond of trust and mutual respect. Void signatures approaching from all vectors, Kai reported, his voice tense but controlled. They're trying to box us in. Zeph's skin rippled with determination. Initiating temporal shield matrix. Kai, prepare for desynchronized attack pattern beta. As the horizon danced through space and time, its weapons lashing out at enemies that existed in multiple moments simultaneously, Ilara couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. What once would have seemed like an impossible feat of coordination was now second nature to her diverse crew. Back on Gateway Station, the war effort had brought about unexpected changes in both human and Aetherian society. Cultural exchanges deepened, with humans adopting aspects of Aetherian philosophy and spirituality, while Aetherians embraced human creativity and adaptability. Lyrics, the once skeptical Aetherian scientist, now led a joint xenobiology program. Our differences, Lyrics explained to a group of wide-eyed students from both species, are not weaknesses to be overcome, but strengths to be celebrated. It is our diversity that makes us strong against the Void Walkers. As the war progressed, there were losses and setbacks. Entire colonies were lost, timelines were erased, and brave souls from all species made the ultimate sacrifice. But with each hardship, the Alliance grew stronger, more determined. The turning point came during a massive Void Walker assault on a key temporal nexus. The combined fleet, led by the Horizon and Zix's Chrono Guardian vessel, engaged in a battle that spanned multiple dimensions and timelines. In the heat of the conflict, Ilara made a fateful decision. Drawing on everything she had learned from her allies, she proposed a daring plan, one that would require perfect synchronization between all three species. It's risky, Nixa cautioned, its form flickering with concern. Zix's multidimensional voice resonated with a note of approval. But it is bold, the kind of thinking that might just work. With the fate of countless realities hanging in the balance, the Alliance put their trust in Ilara's plan. Human ingenuity, Aetherian precision, and Chrono Guardian temporal mastery came together in maneuver that defied conventional physics. The result was spectacular. The Void Walker fleet, caught in a temporal spatial trap of the Alliance's making, was utterly decimated. For the first time since the war began, it seemed that victory might be possible. In the aftermath of the battle, as the Alliance celebrated their hard-won victory, Ilara found herself standing with Nixar and Zix, gazing out at the vast expanse of space and time. "We've come so far," Ilara mused, her voice filled with wonder and hope. "From first contact to this, defenders of all reality." Nixar's form shimmered with a warm, golden light. "It is a future none of us could have imagined, yet one we built together." Zix's multidimensional voice resonated with a depth of emotion that transcended species. "This alliance, this bridge between worlds and times, it is more powerful than any weapon. It is the key to safeguarding all of existence." As they stood there, representatives of three vastly different species united in common cause, Ilara realized that they had achieved something truly remarkable. They had not just saved their own worlds or timelines, but had forged a bond that transcended the very fabric of reality. The war against the Void Walkers was not over, but for the first time, the future, all possible futures, looked bright. Humanity, having taken its first tentative steps into the cosmos, now stood as part of something greater, protectors of time and space itself. As the Horizon prepared for its next mission, its crew a living embodiment of interspecies cooperation, Ilara couldn't help but smile. The universe, it seemed, was full of wonders and challenges beyond imagination. And together, united across species and timelines, they were ready to face whatever came next. The end of this chapter was just the beginning of a grand adventure that would echo across all of time and space.